Hello, this is Frances McNeish with my presentation on sustainable transportation for sustcomm 397. Sustainable transportation includes any form of transportation that has a reduced carbon footprint relative to the alternative modes, as well as being accessible and equitable. This would include, but is not limited to, increased public transport, especially if it is subsidized for low-income individuals in that community, increased infrastructure for biking, skateboarding, and other modes of transportation, limits on personal use and limits on space for parking for people who are still using personal vehicles, and a general change in how people think about getting around their city. Overarching changes to a city's infrastructure can have dramatic effects on how transport works in many cases. Two examples of this would be taking out a lane of personal traffic and converting it to mixed-use bus and bike lane to encourage people to ditch their personal vehicles in favor of the now faster public transport or bike path. They would be faster because there would be a reduced amount of personal vehicles contributing to traffic in that area. Another general change that would encourage people to use their vehicles less is expanding the walking spaces throughout the city, possibly by removing parking spaces along the street. If the sidewalks are wide and well maintained and there is limited space for parking anyway, people will be more likely to walk around. A city's public systems are the backbone of transitioning to more sustainable transportation within a specific area. Improving the already existing public transport systems to be more effective and pleasurable will boost use. Adding stops, particularly in areas with high numbers of disadvantaged people, will increase use and equity throughout the city, making it easier for all members to get where they need to be. This applies to both subway systems and bus systems. Subways should be as connected to the larger urban areas as possible, and buses should connect residential areas to urban centers. Currently, almost 90% of Americans own a car, and many wealthy people own more than one. However, owning a car is only part of the process, because cars must be registered, maintained, insured, and continually given gas. Individual vehicle use is a large contributor to pollution throughout the U.S., and even if everyone had the same type of green car, it would not be equitable because of maintenance costs. Throughout this, transitioning to alternative forms of transportation, largely biking, walking, and improving public systems, would be the best solution. While transitioning away from personal vehicle use, a city must be sure that there are effective alternative ways for individuals to get around already in place. This includes, but is not limited to, bike share programs such as Valley Bike that could be implemented and subsidized for lower income community members. Stations should be strategically placed in neighborhoods and in urban centers so that the city is well connected. Rideshare programs such as Uber and Lyft, particularly when they are group rides and not just individuals using the same individual vehicle. The previously mentioned public systems, especially if prices are adjusted based on income level, are also a very important mode of alternative transportation and should be stressed by the city. A large part of a city's transition to sustainable transportation relies on the mindset of community members, how well integrated the changes were, and how well municipal powers explain the importance of these changes to the people. If the individuals that comprise a community can clearly see the benefits of using sustainable transportation, and it is accessible and affordable to them, then the transition should go relatively smoothly. This will be easier in regions that already have a strong sense of connection and community versus regions that are very closed off and not connected within themselves and their municipal powers. The implementation of sustainable transportation in a city requires great effort and dedication on the infrastructure side of things as well as on the community engagement side. Clearly explaining the benefits of these changes, such as heightened equity, lower greenhouse gas emission, and greater social connectivity, will make the changes more acceptable to the people involved.